In the early morning hours of September 21st, 2009, a man suddenly woke up in his bed. From the dark corner of his bedroom, he heard a faint metallic clinking sound. His heart began pounding as he slowly turned toward the noise. And then he saw it. Someone was standing in the corner, staring at him. The figure took a step forward. Clink. Another step. Clink. The sound was getting louder. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of true crime mystery stories, so please subscribe to our channel, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. Okay, let's dive into today's story. On the afternoon of April 13th, 1985, 60-year-old Dorothy Thompson walked into a small bank in St. Bernard, Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans. Her hip was bothering her badly that day. She moved slowly, forcing herself not to limp. In a town this small, people noticed everything and talked about it. As expected, when she stepped into the lobby, several tellers and customers glanced her way, then leaned toward each other and whispered. St. Bernard was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone, friendly on the surface, but fueled by gossip underneath, and Dorothy was always at the center of it. She had lived there for nearly 40 years. She owned the town's pet cemetery, and she lived there, alone. The cemetery itself was a legitimate business. Pet owners purchased burial plots. Some graves were simple stone markers, others were elaborate, including one life-sized statue of a beloved cat. But what truly fueled the rumors wasn't the animals buried there. It was the people who had died on that property. Both of Dorothy's husbands had died there. Her first husband was an abusive alcoholic. One day, after years of violence, Dorothy shot him in what authorities ruled self-defense. Her second husband later died by suicide on the front porch. People whispered that she was a husband killer. What they didn't see was how much loss she carried. When her mother died 6 years earlier, Dorothy collapsed into deep depression and was hospitalized for months. She was functioning now, but barely. At the bank, Dorothy withdrew cash to pay her new handyman, Kenny Pomeyer, who was waiting outside. She didn't drive, so Kenny also acted as her driver. A few hours later, around 4 p.m., Kenny dropped her back at the cemetery property. She paid him, thanked him, and watched him drive down the long wooded driveway. That was the last confirmed time Dorothy Thompson was seen alive. That night around 9 p.m., Dorothy poured herself a glass of wine and turned on the television in her bedroom. Later, the phone rang. It was Patricia Newman. Patricia was in her 30s and had grown close to Dorothy over the past 3 years. What began as a caretaker relationship had turned into something like mother and daughter. Patricia helped manage Dorothy's medications, drove her to appointments, and checked on her frequently. They spoke briefly about a pharmacy trip planned for the next day. After hanging up, Dorothy poured another glass of wine. She stood quietly in the kitchen, listening to crickets outside. Then she heard it, a vehicle slowly making its way up her long driveway. The next afternoon, Patricia pulled into Dorothy's driveway. Dorothy wasn't answering her phone. She knocked. No answer. She looked through windows. Nothing. The house was silent. Police arrived and forced open a jammed back door. Inside, everything looked normal. The TV was still on. A half-empty glass of wine sat in the kitchen. But Dorothy was gone. No signs of robbery, no signs of forced entry. It was as if she had simply evaporated. 4 days later, Detectives formally opened a missing persons investigation. On May 3, 1985, a body was discovered in the Mississippi River, roughly 40 miles downstream. The body was severely decomposed. A plastic bag had been tied over the victim's head. Heavy chains were wrapped around the body to weigh it down. There was no water in the lungs. This was not drowning. This was homicide. Patricia was brought in to identify the remains. The body was nearly unrecognizable. But there was one detail: a small cross tattoo on the left index finger. It was Dorothy. Detectives quickly realized something unsettling. Nearly everyone in Dorothy's life had a reason to benefit from her death. There was Kenny, the handyman. There was Ellen Childress, a former employee obsessed with rumors of buried treasure on the property. There was Patricia, who stood to inherit a large portion of Dorothy's estate. And then there were Brandon and Bonnie Nodier. Brandon had convinced Dorothy, while she was heavily medicated, to sell him her property for almost nothing. When she realized what had happened, she sued him. The court hearing occurred just 10 days before Dorothy disappeared. If Dorothy died before the lawsuit concluded, the sale would stand. Brandon would own everything. For months, detectives interviewed suspects repeatedly. Patricia blamed Brandon. Brandon blamed Patricia. Bonnie moved into Dorothy's house. Tombstones in the cemetery were mysteriously smashed, possibly by treasure hunters. Rumors spread. Psychics called in. Nothing stuck. The case went cold for 24 years. In September 2009, Detective John Duran received an anonymous call. The caller claimed he knew who killed the pet cemetery lady. He said he had kept the secret for decades. He said Dorothy's ghost, covered in chains, had been appearing to him, haunting him. He couldn't take it anymore. The caller finally gave a name: Brandon Nodier. According to the tipster, Brandon had bragged about killing Dorothy. He had driven to her home that night, strangled her, wrapped her body in sheets, dumped her in the Mississippi River. He had brought another man along, James Trigler, to wait in the truck. Over time, investigators tracked down witnesses. James eventually confessed to being present. Brandon had told his friends what he'd done, and they had been too afraid to come forward. In 2012, Brandon Nodier surrendered. He pleaded guilty. He received a 10-year prison sentence. James was granted immunity for his testimony. Bonnie was cleared. Today, the pet cemetery still exists, but it's abandoned, overgrown, silent. Treasure hunters still roam the property, metal detectors in hand, chasing rumors of buried fortune. But the only thing ever truly hidden there was the truth, and it took nearly 25 years to dig it up. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of today's story in the comments. See you in the next story.